Hello everyone, welcome back to another match preview. This time it's a quick turnaround. Man United versus Newcastle happens on Boxing Day on Friday. In terms of the team news, both teams are injury ravaged. Considering Man United are missing 7 players, Newcastle are missing 8 players. Man United are missing Mbeumo, Ahmad, and Mazrui who are off to AFCON. We also have Delete and Maguire who have still not recovered. We have had new injuries this week in Bruno and Maino. Before in the game against Aston Villa, Bruno was injured. Maino was injured in training just the day before that game was played. So it's going to be around 7 players missing for this game. You can have some players might be back, but I don't think it's in this game. Based on the previous press conference by Ruben Amorim, he wasn't expecting any of them in this game. There's going to be a press conference at 1, but this preview is coming before the press conference. So both teams are suffering some injuries. Newcastle are also suffering injuries. Nick Pope is a doubt. Dan Burn won't be available. Emil Kraft, Jamal Lascelles, Kieran Trippier, Sven Botman, Valentino Livramento, and William Osler. So they also have their own injuries. And it will play into this game, so you never really know how this game will play, because with all those injuries, we will need some other players to step up, and that will make for a very good game. Casemiro is back. Casemiro was suspended for the Aston Villa game. He had picked up 5 yellow cards and wasn't available for the Aston Villa game, but he's back in this game. That is good because it eases up the midfield crisis that we have had with injuries to Bruno Fernandes and Maino. We have a very poor home record in the last 5 games. We have lost to Everton, we have drawn with West Ham, we have drawn with Bournemouth, and so it's not really good reading, considering out of around 4 games that we should have won, we have only picked up 3 points. So that is not good enough for the home record. So at this moment in time, our home record is not good enough. Newcastle has also a poor away record. I think in their last 5 games they have only won once away, or probably the season. I think they don't have that many wins away, so that can play in our advantage. But then again, you consider our home record, and you can't no team can brag to be having the advantage in this game. Yes, the 12th man is always an advantage when you're playing at home. We had a good record in the last games just after the October international window, when we had Sunderland, Brighton, then Liverpool. We won all those games, including also the Chelsea game not far back. So we were on a 4 winning home run before these last 4 games. So it's going to be something we need to work on. This team needs to work on the home record, because if you are going to be playing for those Champions League positions, then the home record needs to be very good, so that whichever points you pick up away, they add on to the home record. Dogu is on 4 yellow cards. He didn't get a yellow card last time, so this is a game that is also another significant game. If he picks up a yellow card, then he goes into the next game with only one fullback, one wing back, and it's not good enough, because the players that have to come in have to come from the academy, and I don't think they are good enough to start the full 90 minutes. I think it's always good to see the academy players, but you don't want to put them into under this pressure. So I think 30-60 minutes towards the end of games, that can be good. Okay, obviously we can deal with this with the player like Shaw and Martinez, but then again we have some problems in midfield. So hopefully in the next game we'll have players who have come back, and we can ease on the pressure that will be on the fullbacks, because we have lost 2 fullbacks to AFCON, and this is another game that we need fullbacks, because the Ruben Amorim system really depends on fullbacks. In terms of the table, Newcastle are in 11th, Man United are in 7th. So they are 3 points behind us. In fact, if in this game Newcastle were to win it by 2 clear goals, then we will go above Man United. So this is an important game that we need to win, because once it stretches the points to 6 points, and then secondly it helps us in the fight for Europe, because Newcastle is going to be one of the contenders for that Champions League position, or even the Europa League. So we really need to win this game, and I think it's winnable, because the players that are missing for Newcastle means they don't have a good bench. We also don't have a good bench, and I think with the players missing, we have a better first team, in my opinion. In terms of the team form, we have an identical team form, because we have drawn 2 games, we have won 2 games, and then we have lost 1 game. The same for Newcastle. The Newcastle has won the games against Fulham and against Burnley. Both games were played at home, so they won all those games at home. They drew with Bayer Leverkusen in the Champions League away. They lost to Sunderland away, and they drew with Chelsea last time at home. Man United have also won 2 games. Those 2 games were against Crystal Palace and Wolverhampton Wanderers. Both were away. We have drawn 2 games at home because most of these games we have a very good attacking threat, but we seem to be making so many mistakes defensively. So we hope the defense has improved. And the last game we played really well despite losing. We lost away, but it was a very good performance. If you can replicate that performance at home, I feel that we can have enough to win this game. In terms of the head-to-head, last time Newcastle beat us 4-1. This was the game where Casemiro and Eriksen started in midfield, and the midfield of Newcastle just outran us because those two didn't have legs before the season ended, and then Eriksen had to leave because we couldn't renew his contract. And even in this year, you find that Casemiro, the same will happen at the end of this year. We won't renew his contract, so he has to leave. So the players were on the end of their careers, and it really impacted this game because we were overrun by the Newcastle midfield. The Newcastle midfield was by Bruno, Sandro Tonali, and Jolinton. So they were very energetic, and this was what happened. They also beat us at home. So last season they beat us home and away. The previous season we won 1 game and they beat us at their home. The other season they beat us home and away. So the last 6 games Newcastle have had a very good head-to-head against us, except for 1 win where we beat them. All these other matches they have won. So it's going to be a game where we see if we can turn the tide. We have turned the tide against Liverpool. We beat them at Anfield after not beating them for 9 years. Brighton was also beating us home and away. We beat them Brighton this time. The same with Crystal Palace. So I think this is also another game where we need to turn the tide. We need to get back to normalcy because we used to beat Newcastle so many times, but over the years we have gone behind in terms of our midfield, and but we are getting back to that because our attacking is getting back, only that the defense is making far too many mistakes. So if the defense can be tight, and if the midfield, the people who come in midfield can play a good game though, then we can stand a chance. This is going to be the predicted lineup for Newcastle. In case Pope comes in, Pope is a doubt, but if Pope doesn't make it, then Ramsdale will start in goal. They have Shah and Tiao playing as the centre backs. They have Miley and Hall as the full backs. Ramsey and Tonali and Guimaraes will play as the midfield. They're still an energetic midfield and will need help, especially since Casemiro will be starting and I think Lisandro Martinez. So if the two of them are starting in midfield, and in most cases when we play a two-man midfield, we get overrun. So we need a player like Mount to come in midfield to help with the midfield roles. In the striking, they'll have Murphy, Waltamade, and Gordon. So this is a very good team. Even though they are injury ravaged, they still present a very good team that will cause Man United problems. So Man United have to be wary of the threat that comes from the Waltamade, because in terms of the headers that he's scoring, sometimes even in his own net, you look at the game against Sunderland, he scored a very good header. Unfortunately, it was in his own net, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. So this is another game that we have to watch out for Waltamade. He started his life in England very well. Became from the Bundesliga just like Benjamin Sesko. So let's see who gets the better of the other player when in this game. In terms of the Man United predicted lineup, I think this should be the lineup that should start this game. Lamens in goal, Heaven, Yoro, and Shaw to continue as the centre backs. Dogu and the Dalot should continue as the wing backs. Then Martinez comes in for Bruno Fernandes. He came on the first half against Aston Villa and he did very well. He was controlling the game. He was making sure the balls were going to feet of the players. He wasn't playing as many long balls. That was the difference between him and Bruno. Bruno plays a lot of long balls, so we had more control with Martinez. Martinez and Casemiro are also better defensively, so they'll be able to help us defensively, keep the attackers of Newcastle at bay. Mount and Cunha will play as the 10s. Hopefully they can have enough creativity to cover the creativity that we lose with Bruno, and then Sesko to start in as the striker. And if Sesko can have a better game than he had against Aston Villa, he had a very good chances that he could have put away, but he was a bit slow, or he overhit. Instead of a small touch, he overhit the ball more like a trampoline. and the chances got away from him. So if he can have a better game in this game and is able to play more than the 75 minutes that he was scheduled to play against Aston Villa, then I think we can have this team for longer, and the more we have this team for longer, the more we have chances to win the game. So that is what to expect from this game. Both teams are suffering injuries. Both teams are not doing that well. Man United's home record has not been good enough of late. Newcastle's away record has not been good. But Man United have played some good performances. If you consider the game against Bournemouth, the performance was very good, but the defensive mistakes were too many. The same against Aston Villa. Aston Villa just had 2 or 3 chances. In fact, Morgan Rogers, we gave him too much space and he was able to score 2 identical goals. So this time they need to be close. I think Euro needs to be more aggressive than he is. In some cases, he's not been aggressive enough, such as with the goals against Aston Villa, the goal against Everton, also the penalty gave away against Crystal Palace. So it's going to be depending on how well we play defensively. But with Casemiro and Lisandro Martinez ahead of the defense, I think we can be more compact, we can be more solid, we can control the game, and that is the key to winning this game. So let's see what happens in this game, and then we can review it. Hopefully it's going to be a win. Boxing Day needs to be good for us, and we can go into the weekend looking at the other teams, knowing that if we have a win, then any team that drops points is advantage Man United. So see you in the next one.